is. Good morning. Welcome to
Good morning.
Diane's Kitchen. And it's not a cooking show, it is a time where we sit down with some really interesting people, people with stuff that you should know, and have a discussion with them. This morning, I think you're going to be just intrigued with my guest. It's Chris Thompson. Morning, Chris.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. If you are from Spooner, if you've ever driven through Spooner, Wisconsin, you probably will recognize the name Thompson if I put it with Benson-Thompson. Uh, they have been in real estate since forever. But before we get into that, I want to remind you Barron County, Barron Electric is our sponsor. And they've got a reminder for you this morning, and that is if you're looking to buy a new appliance, a big one, look for the Energy Star appliances. Give them a call, email them, barronelectric.com. Find out if that's included. You can get money back from that, from the electric company, for buying an Energy Star appliance. So before you buy anything, make sure you give them a buzz. If you are a Barron Electric person, it's a co-op, which means every one of us who are Barron Electric people have an interest, a financial interest in the company. We get dividends back every year. 18,000 people use their services. If you're one of the fortunate ones, you do too. Check to see who you're paying your electric bill to. If it's Barron Electric, you got it good. Okay, Chris, take us back to what year? What started Benson-Thompson Realty?
Well, it started actually before Benson-Thompson, and it was Dwayne Benson uh, started Indian Head Real Estate Company in 1956.
Oh my goodness.
And it was in the same location where our office is now, or maybe not the same building, but the same general location. We have some old photography of the old sites in our office. It's kind of neat to look at. But
Yeah,
so
sure.
a small little building back there that Dwayne started, and about 4 or 5 years later, my grandfather Gene Thompson joined him to create Benson-Thompson.
So you are heir apparent.
Yes, I'm third. I'm third generation in the business.
Well, you must be the family must be doing something right if you've logged on with them.
Yeah, we're trying.
Well,
We like to want to keep the name going and keep
yeah.
our reputation going.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
you've been in business a lot of years.
so yeah, my actually it's got a lot of family. We've had a lot of family members through the office over the years. I had an aunt, Deb Thompson. She was Deb West at the time, was an agent, and my cousin Krista Salquist is an agent in the office now, and my mother Debbie Thompson is in the office as a broker. So we've got a lot of. It is a true family business.
Okay, you said the word broker. I have never understood what a broker is, what they do. Explain that. Which
Oh, well, there's two different license recognitions. There's broker and salesperson, and so a broker oversees the other salesperson in the office. The lead broker does. You can be a broker associate, which is also you could basically you could go out on your own and have your own office if you chose to. It's just a higher level of licensure.
So what does a broker do that's different from a salesperson?
Well, if you used it to its fullest extent, you're overseeing your salespeople in the office, looking at their contracts, making sure the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, um, helping them navigate some of the muddier waters that tend to turn up all the time these days. There's challenges, new challenges all the time with the changing markets and managing people and managing um, expectations. Everything you can think of, it gets thrown at a broker from time to time.
So if
Whereas I'm
Go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. Whereas a salesperson may not have all those responsibilities. They're usually classified as an independent contractor under a brokerage, and they can just worry about what's on their plate and what their clients, and not necessarily what's going on elsewhere in the office.
So if I'm a salesperson, can I do everything from hello, happy to meet you, to selling a house, to getting all the paperwork done and thanks for shopping with us? Or at some point, does a broker come into my negotiations or my closing deal for a reason?
Only if needed.
Okay.
There is checks and balances within every office. They probably have different procedures, but a broker should be looking through the file and making sure everything's complete, all the paperwork is in order, and so on throughout the process. Not necessarily micromanaging, but just making sure things are going the way that we want them to. But for all intents and purposes, an agent or a salesperson can take it from start to finish on their own.
So they're kind of there to check the boxes to make sure everything's right.
Yes, and at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, they're the responsible party.
Ah. Uh, do they ever sell or do they sit in the office and drink coffee?
Yeah, no. The brokers are very active, and just it's the same opportunities to sell and work with clients as the agents. It's just more responsibilities on top of that.
So
So
if I started in the business and I was a salesperson, would my goal be to be a broker?
uh, everyone's different. If you wanted to handle more responsibility or be think about having your own brokerage service in the future, that might be a goal, but that's not necessary to be successful.
Can a real estate business function without a broker?
It's not. It's a requirement of your licensure is to have a managing broker in your office.
So somebody there in charge to check to make sure everything's proper.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Back in the 50s, the world was different, especially in Spooner. It was much more rural. It was, I don't know, was it smaller?
Oh, I would imagine. I was 30 years from being born at that point, but it was a whole different world back then. You were doing a real estate contract on one sheet of paper or a handshake, maybe even in that time. And now we have 15 pages to sell a half acre vacant lot. It's a and I think a lot of that has to do with the mass quantity of lawyers that have entered our society.
Ah, yes, lawyers. I have a good lawyer
So
joke. I won't tell it to you, but
I think everybody has a couple.
yeah, they should at least. So the real estate business has changed so much because Spooner has changed so much. Uh, the whole idea, I think, that the virus gave us is, as long as I have to work from home or get to work from home, why don't we live where we really want to live? I mean, we don't like Edina anymore. It's too busy, it's crime laden, parts of the cities. People are a little afraid to live where they lived for years. Well, not anymore. And they're thinking maybe we'll move up. Have you seen an influx of out of state buying?
Yes, we have, and it's not. We always have clientele from out of state. That's
Right.
with a tourist based economy. That's our main for the lakes and the larger recreational parcels anyway. But it has been an increase, and in my experience and in our office's experience is all I can speak to. But there are people who have that opportunity, like you had mentioned, to work from home and like you said, why not be where you want to be while you're doing it? When you can walk out and work from your deck overlooking a lake, or in your private backyard, or just being away from all the craziness of the urban areas.
Exactly. And with our school systems really upgrading, it's no longer the one school system. I remember when I was a little girl, I would spend my summers up here on the farm with an aunt and uncle, and sometimes school up here would start sooner than mine back where I came from. So I would go a day or two to the school. It was small. I mean, we were just one step ahead of that school where everybody gets into one room. You know, the first graders sit in the first row and the second graders sit in the second. It was just a step up from that. And now, look where our schools are. Quality education, just what I would be looking for if I had children and I was looking for a place to move. I think our school systems are really good.
They are, and I can speak to that because my wife is a first grade teacher in Spooner
Oh,
Elementary School too. So
well,
I get firsthand knowledge of that, but they're all great. All the schools we have in this county are great, and they're changing and improving for people's needs all the time.
mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Sometimes the budgets aren't as great as we'd like them to be, but we have people that manage them greatly and do what they can with what we have. And but we're not shouldn't be held second to anyone. We have great people and great services.
And great support because I
Yes,
think Spooner
absolutely.
just had a referendum, didn't it? And it passed.
They did. They did. Yes, I believe it was about $16 million.
Sheesh.
They're currently putting an addition on the Spooner Elementary School, which was much needed. They were bursting at the seams there, renovating their a couple of the gyms, the old Anthos gym and the elementary school gymnasium. Taking down the middle school, the small gym, which has been in the news lately, but that was beyond repair, so they had to
Mm-hmm.
remove that. And then a lot of mechanical stuff that was also needed to be upgraded. But it was overwhelmingly passed, and the people support the need for that, and it's great.
And 16 million. I mean, this isn't a drop in the bucket. This is serious money.
It is, it is. But one good thing about that is the way they were able to manage it is it was tax neutral. So they restructured the remaining debt on the high school, I believe, so they could not increase the levy or not increase the taxpayers' burden. So
Smart.
that was
Smart.
nice too.
Yes, it is nice. And it's nice to know that people here, even though they don't have kids in school, they still support the school
Yes.
financially and every other way. Back to real estate. Years ago, the houses were, well, old. A lot of Spooner, what, early 1900s? Now, I mean, you take a drive around and we're getting some huge houses. Being from Shell Lake, um, it's just incredible. You take a boat ride around Shell Lake and the size of the houses are just huge. And a lot of them are from retired people from corporate industries or whatever, and they're coming with money. Why they need such a big house is beyond me because I'm figuring, okay, if you're retiring, you're probably 60 ish. And who wants to do all that? Who wants that big of a house? But evidently people do. Are you seeing a lot more luxury places going up?
Yes. Right now you can buy more with your money than you have been able to. So let's hypothetically, so someone from you mentioned Edina earlier sells their home over there for
Big bucks.
big bucks, and they can get twice as much home for that amount of money over here.
Oh,
So that's why I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing people having bidding wars here and people getting 100,000 plus over their asking price on some lake homes
over?
in this area. Over, yes. So yeah, a lot of places. I haven't been involved in too many of them of that level, but I have heard from some other agents and brokers that on Shell Lake even up to 150,000 over asking price on some homes because there's so many people wanting these places and there's so little inventory that they're just whatever it takes because they're sold their apple in Edina and they can buy a watermelon in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So
And they are they're buying a lot of watermelons in Wisconsin.
They are.
And with, what is it, fiber optics. I used to
Yeah.
think that was a great idea. Oh, good, fiber optics. I don't have to wait 20 minutes for my computer to come on because I live out in the country. But it didn't realize the other side of that, that it's going to bring a lot more people in that go, wow, they have fiber optics. We are moving.
Yes. Yeah. Broadband being put out at farther and further every year is increasing everyone's availability to high speed internet and their ability to work from home. So we are having an influx of people from outside, and eventually, there. Some people say we welcome them, but we hope they don't bring their politics or whatever that they ran away from with them. But we're not the ones that get to decide that. Their money is good here, and they pay taxes, and they can do what they wish and vote how they wish. And
That
it's
is my biggest beef with people who move here. We moved here, but we knew what we were getting into because, like I say, I spent every summer up here. But to
mhm.
have people move up here and maybe they're at our grocery store and you overhear them and she goes, oh, look, Howard, they've got a hot deli. Like, where do you think you moved? This is,
Yeah, it is. Everybody has those experiences from time to time, and it's sometimes hard to stomach, but it's part of being a tourist based economy.
it really is. And the uh, township I'm in, we have virtually no rules. I think septic is the only thing we've got to comply with. And what we're worried about is that we'll get people from other places and they'll all of a sudden go, what? My neighbor can burn papers? Oh, heavens, that's got to stop. And they'll change our way of life because they
Yeah,
never
that.
got to do that back in wherever.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's obviously a concern. And thankfully, we do have good town boards in place and good
Yes.
people that run these local governments. So there are safeguards in place where they can't make sweeping changes right away. But hey, that is a real concern
Hmm.
when people want to change the way things have been done for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, however many. But uh, it's legitimate.
And why is it in us to leave someplace that we don't like and then create another place and create it just like the place that we left that we didn't like?
It, I think it's human nature. Just the grass is always greener until you get there, and then you want what you left. So
Yeah,
I
that
think I
security
think
of the
that's a big
things that,
part of it.
yeah, you
Hmm.
left. So, what kind of stuff is going? Well, obviously, I would say lake property is right at the top of the list.
Yeah, that's been the hottest commodity, but primary housing in the city and just outside of the city are highly sought after as well, and reaching levels of pricing that I haven't seen, you know, in my 18 years of being in real estate. There was a time where I thought, well, even a year and a half ago, we were going out and looking at listings and giving people our opinion, and then someone else gives them a higher opinion,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking there's no way they'll get that. We have never seen that pricing in Spooner or Shell Lake, and sure enough, I'm proven wrong. And in this economy and this um, boom or whatever you want to call it is changing everything right now.
So, in your opinion, because you're an experienced salesperson, what caused this boom?
Well, I think it was kind of a perfect storm. We'd been running, the inventory had been running down the last few years, um, so there was already a low inventory. And then when COVID hit, people there was an exodus, or people went up to their cabins to get away or to quarantine. Realized that, hey, maybe this is where we want to be all the time, like we had talked about earlier. And then another thing is interest rates are so low; they're historically low right now, hovering right around 3% for a 30-year fixed mortgage.
That's
So you
amazing.
can buy more. You can buy more with your money, or it's the same payment
Right.
for 300,000 that it was for 240 a couple of years ago. It's just I'm not certain on those numbers. I'm just
Right.
using an
Right.
example, but you have more buying power, and but that also increased the pricing, I believe. So a lot of different factors rolling into it, but I think it was just kind of a perfect storm for this area, who has never seen this type of demand and over uh, to create bidding wars and so on.
It's become just crazy because, I mean, this has always been a good area to sell for lakes. Who doesn't want to live on a lake?
Exactly.
But this is just, this is unprecedented how many people are buying and coming and paying big bucks. Now, you said lake property goes first, and then did you say in town and a little out of town goes next? Established houses?
Well, I think they're all going right now. Not
Everything.
necessarily I mean, they're different classes of buyers. I mean,
Sure.
your people who are buying their place in town for 150, they're not probably going to be in that market for a $600,000 place on Shell Lake. But
Exactly.
but so there's all different categories of buyers, but every category is busy right now. There's multiple buyers. When a new home hits the market in the city of Spooner for 200,000, which may have only been valued at 140 3 years ago, there's people swarming on it, and multiple offers, and the same goes in Shell Lake. I mean, they're very similar communities, so they have similar housing, but
Hmm.
the pressure is on all of these, and everybody wants to be, just outside of town with 5 acres and a little privacy, and that
Yes.
just doesn't seem like it exists anymore.
Well, it won't soon.
Yeah.
Uh, Many of my neighbors have property, and they have been getting, postcards in the mail and phone calls wanting to know if they're interested in selling property. Is property, country property, as hot a commodity as, say, lakes or place in town?
You mean vacant land, so to speak?
Vacant land.
Yeah, I believe it is. There's people that want to get their piece, and be prepared to build in the future, or buy it for hunting land, or for just to have it for whatever reason they want to in the future. We sold, or we developed a 40-acre formerly cornfield this year. It had very few trees on it. Made it into 6 lots, and I thought, it's going to take a while to sell these, and they all sold right away. And because people wanted a place to go, and it's just a flat, vacant field. But there's a demand out there.
It's
People
almost
want their
like
piece.
it's almost like the end of World War II. You see documentaries how all of a sudden suburbs that used to be cornfields all of a sudden show up and hundreds of people are waiting in line to get one.
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet, but yeah, you look down in the Richmond Baldwin area. When you drive through there, you can see all those developments. And I think we're years away from that here, but it probably will happen someday.
Well, especially if we get, okay, here's a question for you because you're in the business. What would this area need, Washburn County, to make it even more enticing for the working class? Not the guys that just retired with huge retirement packages that can buy anything they want, but the working guy who wants to get his family out of the cities, who wants to get a place even in town, good schools, good churches, good, well, shopping is. What would be the final inducement for having people come? Industry?
I think it is. We've never really had much industry. There's some people. I mean, Spooner and Shell Lake both have industrial parks, and Shell Lake has got some great businesses there. But they're kind of that's one thing we're lacking up here. I think is bigger industry to have the amount of jobs, or living wage level jobs for supporting families, because we're based on tourism. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd say 80% tourism based, and without that let's say 3M hypothetically, or
Right.
somebody like that, or Walmart distribution center, or something like that. We've never had that in my entire lifetime in Spooner. We've never had anything like that. If there's a Everybody will tell you different reasons, but it's something we're lacking, and a lot of the people around, have supposedly chased businesses away back to the day when Walmart wanted to build out by Highway 53, and there's mixed views on that, especially, but nobody can say that that wouldn't have brought more jobs and more businesses around. But
True.
so and Walmart may not be a great example of what
Right.
people want, but industry and good paying jobs,
Hmm.
and we're just kind of lacking that.
Yeah, we are. So what do we do about it?
If I had the answer to that, I'd be doing something,
There you go.
But well, I mean, we talk about that I was on the county board for a few years for a couple terms, and I was on the city council in Spooner for a couple terms, and that's always the question: is how do we get more businesses here? And there's just no silver bullet to it. We're we've got the highways going through, and we're at a junction of where a lot of
Yep.
shipping or trucking is, but
Yes.
for some reason we're just not can't get over the hump and can't get people drawn in. I know there's been many letter writing campaigns to Target or to Gander Mountain at the time when there were Cabela's to try to get someone to plop down a box store here,
Sure.
and the thing that I remember hearing all the time is that we just don't have a high enough median income. They they don't want to come here because we don't have enough money.
People aren't going to buy.
Yes, they're not going to spend enough money. Or if their business model says if you don't have X amount, then it's not going to be worth plopping down there. So
Well, you can see that and you can't see that. I
you,
suppose, they've got to worry about their bottom line, but it seems counterproductive to me to live in these little towns and then have to go to Rice Lake half an hour away to do a lot of your shopping.
oh, I agree completely. I think that those studies are skewed. If they looked at what people up here are willing to do and what they spend on their recreation and their hunting and their fishing and their,
Exactly.
I think they would be amazed at what our population in this county and surrounding counties would support. But
Yes.
unfortunately, nobody's gotten through to them yet. So
So it'll take a miracle.
uh,
But then,
unfortunately, I think so.
but then, do we really want a huge industry? And suddenly, Spooner goes from what 8,000, 9,000 to 27,000 people. Is that what we want?
Well, some people do, some people don't. I think a happy medium would be nice, but have some more options for people and some more opportunities, but
Right.
not necessarily turn into Rice Lake. But
Exactly.
you know, but it would
So,
be nice to have some of the things that they have to offer.
is there room?
I think there's room. Um, we just need to be able to grow and be supportive of things instead of being afraid of competition, so to speak.
Right.
When there's we've survived, thankfully, over the last 60 some years, um, largely in part to our working with people and
Mm-hmm.
on treating people well and a good
Yes.
reputation. But there's a lot of franchise brokerages around that have much larger assets and support systems built in that we don't have, but we make do, and nobody comes in to defend us when another franchise wants to come in for competition. But the downtown businesses in these towns are niche and unique, and I don't think that
Yes.
they should be scared of outside or outside influences. They've got great support and great business
Mm-hmm.
models,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we need to be a little more open minded when it comes to growth in our areas.
I do too. So if somebody came to you today and said, I'm looking for a house in Spooner, a house in Shell Lake, could they find one?
There's a few available, but not much.
Yeah,
I got an accepted offer together for someone yesterday, and there was only two other houses in that category in the area. So it's a challenge. What we do is
yeah,
put them on a list and try to get them in the door the first as soon as they can. But if they're out, I mean, we actually have people buying houses sight unseen if because they need to get something or they want
sure,
something so bad that
sure.
they'll go off the broker's word, or you'll do a video walkthrough of the home with them, and they'll make their offer accordingly. And it's a changing world, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Whether it's good or bad, it's what we've got. So Shellick is desperately in need of making more housing. It's a
Yes,
wonderful place to live, but there's no place to buy unless you're retired from a huge company and would like to put a little something up on the lake. They keep saying it's a wonderful market to sell your house, but if there aren't any houses to sell, what are you going to do?
and also if you sell your house, there's no if you can't find a place to go to, or
Exactly.
or right now building materials are up
That's what I've
100
heard.
plus percent, and the futures market has been dropping, but that takes about a year
Yeah.
plus to catch up with the retail end
Hmm.
of it. So the materials are gonna be high for quite a while.
So, shot in the dark question for you. Do you, just do you, think that this is going to last for a while, or do you think this is like a flash in the pan and bing, it's going to be over?
I think that it's going to correct eventually.
Ah,
I wish I knew when, but the way that inflation is starting to happen in the
mm-hmm.
nationwide, and being that I just don't believe that we have the capacity for this to sustain itself in this area.
Right.
But as long as interest rates stay low and the inventory is low, I think we're going to continue to see pricing on this level. I don't believe it's going to increase, and eventually I think it's going to retract a little because I don't believe we can sustain these levels of pricing in this area.
I certainly would hope not. I mean, this is really frightening between the, like you say, the lumber price and the fact that you could put anything up and people would just scarf it up. Yes, yes, we'll buy it.
You're
Okay.
right.
Okay, whatever. Thank you, Chris. You have been a wealth of information. Your your legacy, your family's legacy lives on. Is Benson still involved, or is it just mainly Thompson now?
No, it's just Thompson.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge, Dwayne Benson was the only Benson that was ever in the business
Oh,
actively, and he was in there successful for many years with my grandfather. But since then, it's been
Thompson.
just Thompsons and relatives of Thompsons. So, and we do also have other agents in our office.
Sure.
Darrell Gabriel's been there forever, and Greg Schindeldecker's been there for a long time. My nephew Nick Boss is starting in there, dabbling a little bit. So we've got more other people in there that should be recognized for their contributions. It's not just Thompsons, but we all feel like family.
Well, how could you not? So, if you're looking for a place, wherever it is, Benson Thompson, that is the oldest name in the book. You have a website?
We do bensonthompson.com, and it's pretty simple.
Sure.
And we're located right on 63, just north of the McDonald's and Quick Trip in Spooner.
Hmm.
You can't miss our big black and yellow sign. I'm sure you've seen them around the area. So stop in and say hi sometime.
Yeah, and stop in this year before they start ripping up the roads. What, this fall?
That's true. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you,
It's
you
going to
won't
be
be able to go
a
anywhere.
mess. Yep.
Yeah, it is going to be a mess. I see they've got some detour signs up already on 63, and I'm thinking, oh, great, here we go. Rodeo is over, and 4th of July is over. Time to rip up the roads.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Chris, and we'd also like to thank Beer and Electric for being our sponsor. They've got a annual meeting coming up. If you've never been to one, they're very interesting. Plus, you get a pound of cheese, and this year they're going to give you a cutting board. And if you can't get down to Barron, they'll even pick you up in Spooner and take you down. BarronElectric.com or Benson-Thompson.com. There's all the news, there's all the information that you need to know today. Thank you again, Chris, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Diane. You too.
This is Diane for Diane's Kitchen, and like we say every week, keep it cooking.